play was written in the 1890s by Frank Wedekind, and it was originally banned before it was even performed because of its content. It deals with a lot of different issues that are timely today and were as well back then. I think it's interesting the way that he wrote the show and the way that it's supposed to be performed. It takes these issues that are really serious and hard to talk about, and he makes it really accessible to teens and adults, and something that gets the conversation going rather than stopping it.
It follows a lot of kids' lives, specifically like Melchior and Moritz and Wendla, and it goes into a lot of their lives and deals with a lot of topics that teenagers will typically go through, going through puberty and the idea of not knowing what is going on in your mind and your body, and not necessarily having been told what's going on. Melchior is interesting because I consider him to go through a change throughout the play. He starts off very much like, I would probably go as far to say as he starts off kind of arrogant and know-it-all, and he does know a lot of things. He's smart and articulate, but he hasn't experienced much of life, so he jumps to a lot of conclusions that are well-based, but not necessarily accurate. And then he kind of goes through the gambit of things with his friend committing suicide, and then actually having sex for the first time, and other such things, dealing with guilt from other things that he's done, and then getting kicked out of school and such. So he very much goes through a change.
Touch me just like that, and now, oh yeah, now that's heaven, now that I like, God, that's so nice, now lower down.
Well, it's a challenge that I have never tackled before, and that was one of the appeals of this role, was that I would have to reinvent myself in the process of the musical and go back and forth between these 5 characters. I'm a parent, and I also work with kids a lot. And while I agree that the main theme of the story is that communication has to take place, as I've been exploring these adult roles, the thing that strikes me about these women is that none of them are truly available to these kids. And as I have teenagers myself, and I work with a lot of kids myself, it's made me rethink, am I available to them? Am I there in a time of crisis?
I think there's aspects of a lot of different characters that hold true. I mean, I can see a lot of the adult characters, and being a new mom now, I can see a lot of like maybe what their thinking was when they were trying to discipline their children and things like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of fallacies that happen within that too. It's interesting because I can see things from both sides of the scenario. And
Mama who gave me, Mama the angels, who made me so sad. Mama who bore me, Mama who gave me no way to handle things, who made me so sad. Mama the weeping, Mama the angels, no sleep in heaven or Bethlehem. Someday, one day, Christ will come a-calling, calling loud, and roll that it blows. And soldiers lie there crying for him to come and find them, but when he comes, they don't know how to go.
This is our basic space where we construct our set. What happens is Erin gives me a diagram of what she's got a vision of, and it's my responsibility to bring that vision to life. So we construct our sets in here in this room, and our biggest challenge is we have to take and move them up to Northampton So that's kind of everything has to be sort of mobile, so that's a little bit of a challenge, but we've gotten good at it. So right over here is what we've started as far as the bleachers go. We're doing something a little unique with it this year in that we're going to sell the seating right on stage for have some of the audience sit on that. So what I do right now is I construct this set and see how it's going to come together. These frames will be put right against the back of the bleachers where actors will actually climb up on them. So it's going to be kind of, it's a little tricky. We've got to make it kind of safe, but it's fun. So this right here is going to be the whole main backdrop right here. The scaffolding where our four-piece band is going to be set up underneath that. On the front here, on the top, all the actors will access on stairs on the other side, go back and forth. Hopefully what I can do is take this whole system after it's more completed and move it down here into this space where I can utilize the actors to actually get on it so they're familiar with what's happening, get used to the stairs and the movement on the pieces itself.
Anybody can attend it. We're trying to get high school students and college students to attend it because it is geared, the characters in the show actually are younger than high school students. They're originally supposed to be 13 and 14 years old and having to deal with all of these issues. And it's real life on stage, and whether or not we want to admit that things happen, things do happen in real life, and it's very truthful, I feel like. I think the big message that this show has is that the main problem in the show is that there's no discussion about anything. The kids don't know anything about growing up, even though they're going through it. And they try to make a connection with their parents, and their parents, for whatever reason, whether they're scared, which I can imagine. Like, my daughter's 2 now. When she gets to be a teenager, I don't know what it'll probably be a little uncomfortable talking to her, but it's about opening up that communication.
There's a lot of things that happen in the play, a lot of things to think about, but I think the main job of this play in educating is to make basically teenagers and people go home and talk about it and kind of discuss things and figure out and learn more, because as with any play, not everything can be jammed in educationally into a play, or else it would be the most boring hour and a half of your life, which this is not. Be aware. Because it's done in such a way where it's real, but it still has a lot of content in it.
I hope that it is a launching point for discussion. If communication is the theme, I also think that it can be a goal, that there are so many difficult topics that it tackles. I think discussion is inevitable. I have many friends who are parents who've asked me if it's appropriate for their kids, and I think that is a decision that really has to be made on a family-by-family basis. But tread carefully. It's a wonderful vehicle for prompting discussion, but there are adult themes.
Still there's nothing, this mess of life. Still there's this one thing, just to see you go by. It's almost like loving, sad as that is. May not be cool, but it's so where I